Hi, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. Give everyone a chance to arrive.
Hey, Wanett, I saw when you had PowerPoint up, there's a like present online button that I've never seen before that I think might fix the issue of seeing like the back end.
Okay. All right. We're at 9 o'clock. Some housekeeping. The live streaming on YouTube is a work in progress. The live stream is up. We're just going to troubleshoot a couple of issues with that. But good morning, everyone. I'm Wanett Clyde. I'm assistant professor in collections management librarian at City Tech's library. And I would like to welcome you to the 8th annual City Tech Science Fiction Symposium, with this year's theme being science fiction, gender, and sexuality. Professor Jason Ellis and Alan Lovegreen worked to bring the 600 linear foot donation that inaugurated the City Tech Science Fiction Collection to our campus. Our dearly departed colleague, Mary Nellis, was the first person to propose organizing an event to celebrate our newly created archive of science fiction. This symposium has become an annual event that celebrates not only the collection, but new and continuing scholarship. What does it mean to be gendered in our world? What could it mean in another world, on another planet, or even in another dimension? We will delve into some of these questions and more as we move through our program today. I would like to encourage you all to participate and raise points or ask questions using the Q&A feature at the bottom of the Zoom window during each session. And general sessions will begin with introductions, followed by presentations or discussion, and conclude with the Q&A session. Use the Q&A button on the bottom of the Zoom webinar screen to make points or pose questions at any time during a session. The moderator will bring these to the panelists at the end for answering or discussion. There's also the option to use the chat for general talk that everyone can read, or you can message us hosts directly. However, please try not to use the chat for questions to panelists during a session, as it is easy to overlook a question in the chat area. Use the Q&A feature. Though we have not prearranged live tweeting, if you would like to tweet and connect your post to the thread of this conference, if you could use hashtag #SFGenderSexuality and tag the symposium account. Before we begin, I would like to thank my co-organizers, fellow librarian Cal Karpinski, who works with me here at the Ursula Swearing Library, colleagues from the English department, Jill Belli, Lee Gold, Sean Scanlon, and Vivian Pop. And also Lucas Kwong, who designed this year's poster for us. Special thanks to all of you for participating and attending the symposium this year. We also have a new sponsor. Participation in this Pride event is made possible due to the generous funding from the New York City Council of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, Intersex, and Asexual Caucus, and of the Office of the Mayor, and supported by the LaGuardia and Wagner Archives. I would like to now introduce you to a longtime supporter of the City Tech Science Fiction Collection, the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, Justin Vazquez-Poritz, who would like to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. Wanett, if it's possible for me to start my video, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Should be able to now.
Looks like I can't, but that's okay. I'm sure everyone can hear me. So welcome everyone to our 8th annual symposium. Looking back over the years, it's impressive to see the flow of overarching themes. starting in 2016 with exploring the connections with STEAM education, then interdisciplinarity, in which we had Grandmaster Samuel Delaney take questions from students who had been studying his writings in their class. Next, we had our 200 years of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, in which I had my Frankenstein panel of expert faculty across disciplines. The next year, we partnered all the more closely with Analog Science Fiction and Fact to celebrate their 90th year with them. We mourn the loss of our keynote speaker for that year, Mike Flynn. It's the bittersweet passage of time as we also welcome new faculty members, not only to our college, but to the Symposium Organizing Committee. Over the years, the symposia themes have gotten all the more interesting and all the more relevant, reflecting the long history of crossover between science fiction and questions of identity. The years after that, we had race in science fiction, access in science fiction, archive in science fiction, which brings us to this year's theme, science fiction, gender, and sexuality. Those of you who know me know that I'm an avid science fiction reader. Recently, I assessed my bookshelf full of more than 200 books I have yet to read. And I found something that astonished me. 98% of my books were authored by male writers. 98%. Only 4 of those books were authored by females. One of them, of course, included Ursula Le Guin's Left Hand of Darkness, which will be discussed later today. But I was shocked by this, and perhaps I was driven towards these particular books based on what is available or what is considered the canon of so-called hard science fiction. As a string theorist, I'm drawn to stories having to do with the fundamental nature of space-time. At the same time, I had the distinct feeling that I was artificially constraining myself and missing out on a lot in the process. And I believe that I'm one of many sci-fi enthusiasts who could benefit from broadening out. This symposium and the scholars who are here today are helping to remedy this. The evolution of our science fiction symposia happens alongside that of our college. Thanks to the tireless efforts of Professor Laura Westengard and colleagues, we now have a safe space supported by the LGBTQIA+ consortium grant, as well as a growing community of support at our college. We are changing the landscape. And for all of us here today, science fiction is always there to show us the depths of human ignorance and depravity, as well as our potential. After all, if we can't learn how to accept and love one another without condition on one planet, how will we ever populate the entire galaxy? I would like to give my heartfelt thanks to all the people who have made today's event possible. The symposium organizers, Professor Jill Belli, Professor Wanett Clyde, Professors Lee Gold, Kel Karpinski, Lucas Kwong, Vivian Pop, and Sean Scanlon. Thank you to all our presenters, panelists, moderators, authors, editors, and especially our keynote speaker, Itasha Womack, and to all of you out there who will contribute to the dynamical discussions that will take place today. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Justin. I'm